bad.
James, it's Valtteri.
There's something loose between my legs.
You mean like forever? I don't know.
Tripping major nutsack.
Come on! No more radio for the rest of the race.
Hello everyone and welcome along to the brand new season of the Reserve Drivers. My name is Tim McDonald and I'm delighted to be joined this year. Well, I'll let Lee McKenzie introduce him.
To truly appreciate the passion and purpose behind this team, there's one more person and a few more people to meet.
Just one more, his name's Luke Rucker.
Oh, Timothy, what a pleasure, what a thrill. Now, let's cut to the chase. Elephant in the room.
We do have new owners. We are delighted to announce Dmitry Mazepin, oligarch of the show, has taken an interest in the Reserve Drivers.
But fear not, because there will be no difference to the high quality product and the high quality values
You're not
we
gonna
hold.
You're not going to notice any changes at all. And just if I may take this opportunity, Leaky Boy, if you are looking for a high-grade industrial potassium chloride fertilizer, choose your Alkali.
Your Alkali, the second largest company in F1 to produce as much shit as we do.
I think someone needs a bit of potash in them, Leaky Boy, but you're not going to notice any differences in the podcast. No differences, no changes at all. Still the same show.
Spasiba, let's get onto it.
Hey, why don't we hand over to our brand new co-host?
Oh, yes.
What's your ultimate pizza topping? Spicy salami, probably. The extreme.
Cool. If you're a returning viewer, great to have you back.
If you're a returning viewer, what are you doing?
If you're new to the show, this might come as a bit of a surprise, but I've got about 5 minutes on your Alkali that I'd like to get into.
Please, because if there's one thing we want to talk about, Leaky Boy, it's the big talking points, potash fertilizer. Let's go. Because nothing says Formula One like industrial strength potassium chloride fertilizer.
I did a bit of investigation and I found the company video that gives you a bit of an idea as to what your Alkali, owned by Dmitry Mazepin,
Our new owners
are all about.
Wonderful stuff. Look at that.
Uplifting.
One of the leading producers of potash. What is potash?
Hey, MGUK. That's a good sign.
That's a lot of potassium. Element of the show.
Ooh,
got a bit of oxygen.
New beginning.
Carbon dioxide,
New beginnings,
oxygen,
yeah.
new beginnings, new growth.
Although I noticed that the soundtrack does them a lot of favors, because if you alter the soundtrack and watch a bit more of the video, it's a little bit more sinister.
It's got a bit of Star Wars about it. They're coming. They're coming for us. The 2021 season is not too far away. The Bahrain Grand Prix is this weekend, Licky Boy.
If there's one thing I look forward to in the F1 calendar, it's the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Because we haven't been to Bahrain for a couple of weeks. So it'll be a great chance to get down to Sakir. Obviously, an amazing few weeks of testing, Licky Boy. Your main takeaway from testing?
Yep.
Yep, back to the fertilizer. Back to the fertilizer. You could use a bit of potash, Leaky Boy, judging by that answer. But we learnt a lot in testing, Leaky Boy. A lot of big takeaways from testing.
Yes.
This was, I think, the thing I learnt most.
Very fine amount of sand that's coming through to greet you the next time through again.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating. Gets everywhere.
I mean, he should try potash. I mean, Will Buxton does not like sand. That was the big learning from the week.
Thank God testing was condensed from 6 to 3 days. Oh my goodness, how much more minerals can we talk about on this show?
You can watch the full discussion on our website. But obviously, some big changes coming into Formula One in 2021, Lukey Boy. Some big aero regulation changes. Quite complex technical stuff. Who better to explain it than Ted Kravitz?
So if you imagine the rear tyres are here, about where my fingers are, and there is a 10 centimetre, 100 millimetre area measured about the rear tyres, and there's an exclusion zone about with the wedge of my cheese, and it goes to a point. It's just that my Comte was cut off there.
We're going to cut that off there, Lucky Boy.
I don't want to be seeing Ted Kravitz's wedge of cheese. Yikes.
Well, this was Ted's logic. As you can see, it's got some holes in it. That was Ted Kravitz's logic there. We'll get a close-up of that there.
Where are the wheels on your cheese there?
They've fallen off, Lucky Boy. No doubt about that. How many minutes are we into this podcast? And we're talking about potash, sand, and Swiss cheese.
F1's back. Tim, do I even bother to ask why he was holding a block of cheese?
Well, Sebastian Vettel was asking the same question.
And we've managed to find Sebastian Vettel here at Aston Martin. Aston Martin, licensed to thrill. You right?
I'm good.
You want some cheese? Never mind. So, how's the car?
Why do you
Why do you come out of the winter break and carry cheese around?
What is he doing?
Never a more pertinent question has been asked.
Why was Ted Kravitz walking around holding cheese? Ted tried to explain.
Well, the best way to illustrate it.
I'm not sure
is
it's the
with a
best
bit
way.
of
It's the
cheese.
best way would be to take a piece of paper.
No, it wouldn't. So if you imagine it.
You know what?
Seb?
It would be sad now.
What? It's gone. It's
Is that
been
if you
out
don't
in the
eat,
sun
if you
all.
don't eat that now, then it would be waste.
Ooh.
It's a waste. And if anyone knows about waste, it's Sebastian Vettel after his last year at Ferrari, Lucky boy.
You just couldn't resist. You just couldn't help yourself, could ya?
I could have done better. I could have done better than that. That's how I'm going to explain that joke. I could have done better. It was not a...
Keep going.
It was not a Gouda joke, Lucky boy. It was a bad joke. It was not a Gouda joke.
Okay, hang on. Let me get involved in this. Brie, camembert. What other cheese? Camembert.
You're having a bit of a blue, Lucky boy. You're having a bit of a blue. There's a bit of blue cheese there.
Although I question the blueness of your cheese. That's got a bit of Aston Martin green about it, that cheese.
Well, I can explain that, Lucky boy, with a bit of laughing cow. And at least someone's laughing because the audience isn't.
Okay, so you have bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks of cheese.
Interestingly, it says that this joke was best before 5 minutes ago. So we're going to stop that there.
And it also says original, but nothing original about this stuff. I think we're alienating our dairy intolerant viewers.
Are you intolerant, Lucky?
I'm intolerant of this show, and I'm intolerant of you at the moment. Move on.
But Ted Kravitz was in fine form all week at testing.
No signs of rust?
No signs of rust. He was back to his typical A-grade best. Have a look at this for a wonderful segue.
Who's going to be towards the back of the grid or the pit lane or the paddock, and whether they're going to stay there. One of those teams is Williams. Driver used to drive for Williams is Valtteri Bottas.
What a segue.
Oh.
What an absolute segue.
You don't need cheese for that,
That's
Tim.
a baby bocconcini segue right there. Hey, speaking of segues, Lucky boy.
Oh, nice.
It's time to talk about some of the big talking points in Formula One.
Ladies and gentlemen, Formula One is a pinnacle of technology.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. You don't need cheese for that.
Okay, now I need to come clean here to all the viewers. I purposely didn't watch a single second of any of the launches because I knew if there's one man that's going to give us the in-depth and the the relevant information, it's going to be Tim.
Yeah, no one does it better than me. I watched all of the Alfa Romeo launch, Lucky
I'm
boy.
sure.
Fred Vasseur didn't even get through all of it. In fact, he made an amazing appearance.
Frederic Vasseur and Jan Monchot.
Sorry, that's not the right. That is not the right.
That's Fred after a bit of potash, isn't it?
That's Janmo after a bit of baby bocconcini, if you know what I mean. But
I don't. Now, Tim, I might be biased here because of my Italian heritage.
you might also live at home because of your Italian heritage.
But I've long maintained that Italians do it better, and that principle applies to launches.
I couldn't agree more with you, Lucky boy, except for the fact that it was in Poland. The Alfa Romeo launch was in Poland, and they got one of Poland's most famous Formula One stars, Andrzej Borowicz.
Which one?
Andrzej Borowicz, friend of the show.
Big friend.
Polish friend of the show. He was absolutely the star of the Alfa Romeo launch. Here he is revealing the car as a Bond villain.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we've all been waiting for.
Your patience has been rewarded.
Thank you, Andrzej. Thank you so much.
Jeez. And do we have footage of all those that weren't patient?
But Andres is a star, Lucky boy, and he had amazing chemistry with his Polish co-host. Have a look at this.
Good morning.
Good morning. I think it's good afternoon at the moment.
You got to roll with those kind of punches, Andres. But he did manage to steady the ship when there was a little bit of a technical problem.
Hello again.
Hello, Andres. What a performer. What a presenter. Andres Borowicz.
That's definitely how you said it differently. So who is he?
He's a Polish F1 superstar, Lucky boy.
You say that? What does that mean?
I'll explain it with cheese in a minute. But he was hosting the post-launch Q&A for the journalists. And have a look here.
You have lost your mind. You have lost your mind.
I've eaten a bit too much cheese and potash, Lucky boy, to tell you the truth. But Andres was hosting the post-launch Q&A session. He was asking questions on behalf of the journalists. And at one point, it felt like he knew one of the journalists Rather well.
We have one more question concerning technical aspects, this time from Mark Hughes from Motorsport Magazine. Hello, Mark. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hello, Mark. I think something's going on there, Lukey boy. I don't think we can explain it with cheese either. Let's go to the video. What?
Tim, with the dawn of a new season comes the end of
This episode? I wish. This cheese is going off. We've got to get out of here.
We lost a lot of things and a lot of people with the end of the 2020 season, including...
Lost a lot of people this episode, Leaky Boy. I don't know if anyone's still watching.
Including Renault. A rebrand, a re-imaging to Alpine.
The new boys on the grid.
Yeah, and I thought we should go into detail into the astute business logic of yet another Renault rebrand.
Comment below if you know why Renault
have rebranded yet again. I did a bit of digging, as I like to do.
Sound like a potash miner over here, Lucky Boy.
You know what I do? I say that as if it gives the impression that we do some research and stuff like that. But clearly...
there are holes in your knowledge, Lucky Boy.
But I did a bit of digging, and what I found was that Renault are branding it as a Renaulution. Although I'm not sure if they're history buffs, because the last time a French hierarchy went into revolution, it didn't turn out well.
Off with your head, Lucky Boy, if you keep bringing that gear to the podcast.
It was off with somebody's head, though. A big friend of a show. We're sad to see him go.
Marie Antoinette? Cyril
Abitable. Let him eat the cake. But for all of his faults and for all of his controversy, Cyril was a man for the team. He cared about his drivers and he had a real personal relationship with all of them.
That's the reason why we have those two guys, those great guys around me. I'm sure that you guys are in particular supportive of this guy on my left, but that guy on my right also deserve a big support.
But Tim, the most exciting thing in F1 this year...
Potassium chloride. Is it potash? Is it potash fertilizer?
You might feel like that after you've consumed it. But no, it is Aston Martin.
Back on the F1 grid for 2021.
And they've partnered up with a heavyweight sponsor. Do you know much about Cognizant?
Do they do potash mining?
They don't. They are all about industry digital consulting. And they actually...
you might say...
It's a pinnacle of technology.
But I did a bit of research into them. Again, I spent about 2.5 hours looking at the Cognizant website.
Are you a shareholder of Cognizant?
I'm cognitive to them. But Lawrence Stroll and Brian Humphries, CEO of Cognizant, met up pre-season.
Lawrence, we're ecstatic to be your partner in the year ahead, and it's really exciting for us to be associated with Aston Martin.
Okay, I'm a bit concerned. That's a ski lodge, and Lawrence Stroll is wearing slippers.
Lawrence Stroll doesn't have any socks. How can he afford to own a Formula One team? Also, have they just come back from boar hunting? What are they doing in that cabin?
If you have any visual ideas as to what Lawrence Stroll and Brian Humphries were doing in that cabin, comment below.
If you can explain it in cheese, leave us a comment in the comments below.
If you're not excited about Aston Martin rejoining F1, you're dead inside.
And no one's more excited than 007 himself, Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig here. I just want to send a massive congratulations to all at Aston Martin for getting back onto the F1 grid for the first time since 1960.
And Aston Martin isn't the only thing that Daniel Craig is excited about, Lucky Boy. He's also excited about our return.
Oh.
I just want to send a massive congratulations to all of
the reserve drivers
for getting back onto
YouTube
for the first time since 1960. It is an incredible thrill for me, and I'm sure for all F1 fans, to see
Tim and Luke
again in their iconic
spare bedroom.
And what a lineup of
comedians: Tim McDonald,
4 times
tables,
and the amazing young talent of
Luke. I don't know his surname. What a wonderful message! Big thank you to 007 himself,
agent of the show.
Of course, all the big wigs were there at the Aston Martin launch. Yeah. Lukey Boy, Lawrence Stroll, Daniel Craig, and Otmar Safnauer. To use his official title.
Chief Executive Officer and Team Principal Otmar Safnauer.
It's hard to get right. Hard to get right.
Do you know what, though? I empathise with her because never once on this show have I ever said his name right. And I try.
That was Gemma Arterton, former Bond girl, Lukey Boy, and she was the host of the Aston Martin launch, and she did a wonderful job asking some insightful questions to the team.
You were part of this team. Who am I speaking to here? 1 second.
It's to me.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful launch. What a wonderful launch.
I think it's at that point that Seb's thinking, give me the cheese. I'll take the cheese.
That's got more energy than this podcast, Licky Boy, by the way. But Gemma did finally manage to get out the question that all Formula One fans were asking.
Very important question. Do you prefer dogs or cats?
What a wonderful, hard-hitting question.
Seb, a bit of a dog man, I'm guessing.
Let's find out, because the answer was as good as the question.
I'm personally more of a dog guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dogs.
Grew up with dogs. Love dogs.
Dogs.
I have to agree with you there. I'm dog lady.
Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Who else is excited for Aston Martin? And there were so many more big questions to get to.
What's your favourite corner of the entire current Formula One calendar and why?
Corner.
It's a tough one. There's a lot of corners.
A lot of straights too, Lance, as well. I mean, that's what I guess what a racetrack is, straights and corners.
Gee. She's getting more of a hostile reception than Bond actually gave her.
Tough question, even tougher answer from Lance.
Degner won in Suzuka. Japan. It's pretty awesome. Turn in flat. Hopefully we turn in flat.
I mean, that's Nikita Mazepin, Mick Schumacher levels of chemistry, Lucky Boy.
I remember the other night when you turned in flat? Oh, wild man here.
Get the cheese. That was Lance's favourite corner.
Okay.
What's Sebastian Vettel's favourite corner?
I can't say it's my favorite corner, but it's the favorite sequence of corners. Yeah.
That's all, folks.
Oh my goodness, come on.
What an amazing launch. Gemma Arterton was hosting Lucky Boy. Otmar Safnauer, the team principal, was there. And it's fair to say Gemma was hanging on Otmar's every word.
And now we're going to hear from Otmar Safnauer.
Thank you, Gemma. This is a great moment in the history of our Formula One team. There are certain brands that stir the soul.
She's left. Gemma Arterton has had enough. She's the host and she's just wandered off. Luke, what do you think about that?
Thanks, Tim. What I think about that is that Otmar has a lot to say, and he's got a lot of values, and he's got a lot of things to promote, and he's got a big job from this year, because I want...
Sorry, I just had to go to the toilet. When you eat 47 different cheeses in 15 minutes, it does sort of pass through you.
What's your favourite U-bend? No.
Otmar is focused on the car, Lucky
Yeah.
Boy, although at one point during the launch, he appeared to get it confused with the host, Gemma Arterton.
Otmar, looking at the Aston Martin Cognizant Formula One team and the AMR 21, you must like what you see.
Gemma, it's a wonderful, wonderful car.
There it is. He got it in the end. It's fair to say Otmar's not entirely focused.
Are you trying to Me Too him? Look, I'm a little bit triggered because their launch is way more scripted than anything we've ever done.
Thanks, Luke.
I did catch a glimpse of the launch, and I did see the imposing figure that is Lawrence Stroll, looking very authoritative.
Looking very cognizant, you might say there.
But it did get me thinking, and it did light a fire under a long-standing conspiracy theory I hold.
Take the cheese.
Oh, I broke your cheese. I cut the cheese. Now, we know Aston Martin was formerly Racing Point. We know Racing Point was formerly Force India. And the boss of Force India, Vijay Mallya, someone I'm big on, someone who I think is still pulling the strings at Aston Martin. Take a look at Lawrence Stroll, and then you tell me this isn't the ghost of the undead Vijay Mallya. You tell me, Tim.
I know a VJ when I see one, and that looks a lot like Vijay Mallya. VJ of the show. The big favourites from testing, Lucky Boy, Red Bull.
And how exciting a Red Bull this year, closing the gap, Checo in the seat.
Checo's in the seat, and Checo made a real effort to learn the names of all his new Red Bull colleagues during the week.
So happy to work again together, mate. Hey, mate. Hello, mate. Hey, mate. Thank you, mate. That is impressive, man.
What's impressive, man, is he didn't say one person's name once there.
Come on, he's gone from a company of 80 people to a company of 800. Forget cutting the cheese, cut him some slack.
Well, it does remind me of one of our favourites, Leaky Boy.
A weekend off, mate, is generally probably similar to yourself, mate. We're cut from the same cloth, mate. Freshly shaven there, mate. Mate, really, I think that was a big day, mate. I don't know if you'll stop, mate. That was a surprise, mate. Frustrating, mate. I was just worried, mate. No, it's been a blast, mate. We got through it, buddy. We got through it, mate.
Funny thing about that is Mark only had one name to learn, and it's only 2 letters, DC. But one man Checo Perez does know, Lukey boy, Adrian Newey, the technical supremo of Red Bull.
That's not one of your cheeses that you brought, is it?
Well, you know what we say
4
about...
cheese technical supremo.
You know what we say about Formula One?
Formula One is a pinnacle of technology.
Checo Perez and Adrian Newey, those two get on like a house on fire.
Adrian,
How are you doing? Okay?
you good?
Good, thanks, you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good.
Yeah, all good?
Yeah, well,
Nice break?
yeah, good actually. All good.
Yeah.
If ever there were 2 people in need of some cheese, Lukey boy, it's Adrian and Checo.
I tell you, bringing up potassium is the most chemistry we've seen on this show so far.
Time to check in with a friend of the show, Lukey boy.
One of the many.
Nico Vlogsberg, the man himself.
Didn't take you long.
Didn't take Nico long because he's back in 2021.
Welcome back. So it's my first video of 2021.
And Nico Vlogsberg is back, and he's back with a brand new toy.
This is awesome. This
What?
is amazing.
What?
No, you know, I promise you, this is exactly what I was dreaming of before Christmas. And how the hell am I going to film it?
I know where this is going.
I know where that GoPro's been.
So we're going to try and get you some new angles on this thing.
That's the last GoPro I'd be putting in my mouth, Lukey
Okay,
boy.
how many orifices can he get a GoPro in?
Well, this is Rosberg, all right, and these are his...
Orifici.
Speaking of orifices, Lukey boy,
As we so often do, Tim.
Nikita Mazepin, he's taken a leaf out of Nico Vlogsberg's book, and that is a leaf of toilet paper, because have a look at this video that the Haas social media team posted. He's just come out of the toilet. Was that the best time to get a shot of him?
How much cheese did he consume?
He was dumping a bit of potash, if you know what I mean. And I wouldn't be shoving a GoPro there, Lukey boy.
No, that's a cavity we don't... That's a mining cavity we don't need to see. July 17, 2019. I placed...
Was that when this episode started, Lukey boy? We have been going on for a while.
I placed an order for 24 cans of Rich Energy. Never got it.
What?
I spent 70 Australian dollars, so I sent a few emails, okay? And long and behold, after talking to some admin team, I get an email from CEO, Chief Executive Owner, William Story himself.
He actually emailed you.
He emailed me saying that he will sort, or we will sort. Please email me Monday. I emailed. He said he would send it to me. This was this time last year. Okay, now I admitted there was a pandemic, so I let him off the hook. But I am no longer generous. And I issue this. William Story. Willie. Big Will. Big Willie. Never-ending story.
Never supplying story.
You and I are quite alike. We both are passionate about Formula One whilst having no real stake or affiliation to any team.
Both have the same net worth, I'd argue.
But that's where the similarities end. For I am an honest man. I am a real man. I am a man who values...
You're a man. You're a man. Let's just leave it at that.
So I've tried the emails. I've been pleasant. I've been professional, which is...
Could you bring it to this show?
But the professionalism and the pleasantries have run out, Tim. And as far as I'm concerned, William Story has issued I wasn't going to say death warrant because it's a bit much, but he
hasn't issued it because he's still get around to sending it.
William Story, you have slighted me, you have slighted Tim, and you have slighted the reserve drivers.
Enemy of the show.
Our very first enemy of the show. You have 100 days to deliver, to ship the Rich Energy drink that I am owed. And if you don't do it, there will be repercussions. Have it here where it is on record 100 days, William Story, to return the drink.
Put the countdown clock on. Put the countdown clock on. We've got 100 days. Oh, otherwise, our brand new Russian owners, I mean, they're mobilizing.
Don't be surprised if you go missing within 100 days.
Don't be surprised if you end up in a potash mine covered in potassium chloride.
So that is the warrant. 100 days to give us the Rich Energy drink.
Hey, we've got 100 days to finish this episode, Licky Boy. We're going to crack on.
We've got 100 days before we go missing. I have to say, though, all that cheese you've brought in is really starting to smell. We are in a little room here, and it is not pretty.
It is powerful, so we've got to get through it. We're gonna look like Nikita Mazepin in a moment, Licky Boy. Big news this week, Licky Boy. Millions and millions of viewers were tuned in to the return of Season 3 of...
We're back, the reserve drivers.
Not the reserve drivers. Drive to Survive.
Second best
Formula One series.
Yeah.
Drive to Survive was back in it. Obviously, a lot of big name stars, big name Formula One personalities appearing in the series. and in a reserve drivers exclusive.
Here we go.
Tim and Luke, your old pals, the reserve drivers, are in episode 7
We've done
of
it.
Drive to Survive.
We've broken the threshold. We've penetrated. We're back.
Have a look at this.
We can fight on track, we can fight on drivers, but at the end we are doing the same business and we can sit down together and have a coffee.
And if we pause it there, Lukey boy, have a look at what Fred Vasseur is looking at on his phone.
Oh, hold on.
It's a reserve driver's meme.
Hold on.
We've made it. We're in Drive to Survive.
You know, Tim, I got to say, when we started this all those years ago, I didn't think we'd get there.
And to feature so prominently in an episode of Drive to Survive, there we are in episode 7 of Drive to Survive, a story that many shied away from. We broke it. Gunther Steiner honours Romain Grosjean bet. It's a real blink and you miss it appearance.
Which was funny because Netflix actually came to us looking to do a little spin-off series, Drive to Revive.
Drive to Revive this podcast, Lukey boy. I mean, you'd need to be a potash miner to be able to find that appearance in the episode, but we are there. Episode 7, Season 3. Before we jump out of here, some sad news earlier this year with the tragic passing of Formula One commentary legend Murray Walker.
Voice of the sport.
Voice of the sport. We've heard so many wonderful examples of Murray Walker commentary over the last few weeks, so I thought we'd share a couple of our favourites. What I loved about Murray, well, he was an inclusive commentator. He was thinking about the whole audience when he was commentating.
And it is now 29 minutes past the hour. 29 minutes past 2 in Monaco. 29 minutes past 1 in Great Britain, 29 minutes past something else in the many other parts of the world, India, Pakistan, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, that are listening to us at the present moment, not to mention Malaysia.
I mean, you did mention Malaysia, Murray. Wonderful.
Covered all bases.
Covered all bases. He called it how he saw it, even if how he saw it was wrong.
Lap 28 out of 56, which, unless I'm very much mistaken, is half a distance. And yes, I am very much mistaken. Twice 26 is not 58. We are not quite at the halfway point of the race. Well, we are now, actually.
We got there in the end. Seamless. Valet, the great Murray Walker.
Tim, before we go, we should say that this year we're thinking we're going to get a whole new viewership. A whole lot of people are going to jump on board the reserve drivers train.
The Drive to Survive bump from our appearance in Ep 7, Lukey boy.
And I thought rather than us describe what this show is all about, I thought we'd get our nearest and dearest and those who have been with us since the very start to leave a comment and help new viewers work out what the reserve drivers is all about. So please.
And if you can work out what Luke's talking about, then you've done really well. But please leave us a comment in the comments below.
You got any cheese? This is just a little taste, a little teaser of what's to come in a jam-packed 2021 season.
But for now, Lukey boy, we've got to jump out of here.
Your patience has been rewarded.
And we're going to reward you at the end of the episode, Lukey boy. Leave us a comment in the comments below. Make sure you hit subscribe, hit the bell icon so you do not miss a minute of the reserve drivers in 2021.
And tell your friends. God forbid a bit of word of mouth, you know?
We've got to get out of here though, Lukey boy.
Guy, the cheese has expired.
The cheese has got to get out of here. What more can we say?
And how am I going to film it?
Couldn't have said it better myself. And in exciting news, we're back from season 2021. Every race, possibly, every week. Unlikely. Every now and then, more likely.
Hey, let's not leave without another shout out to our brand new sponsors. We're done with the consortium.
Potash fertilizer of the show. A big thank you to the guys and girls at Uralkali. We'll be back after the Bahrain Grand Prix, but until then, it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.
Good morning.
Good morning. I think it's good afternoon at the moment.